The big meeting hall on Vyloria Prime smelled of sweet flowers and hot metal. Thousands of aliens from 400 different species sat in rows of shining seats. Their skins, scales, feathers, and shells reflected the soft blue lights from the ceiling. Today was a special day. After 80 long years of watching, the Galactic Concordance had finally decided to let humans join as provisional members. Most aliens thought humans were weak. Their bodies were soft, with no natural armor. They had no sharp claws or strong tails. Their ships were small compared to the great fleets of other races. Humans argued a lot, changed their minds often, and laughed at strange things. To many aliens, they seemed like noisy children who had just learned to walk among the stars. But the Concordance rules said every thinking species deserved a chance. So here they were. Human diplomats in plain gray suits stood on the wide stage. They smiled politely and waved to the crowd. Behind them, in a large open garden inside the hall, human children played. The garden was beautiful. Green grass from Earth grew under artificial suns. Small trees with red leaves moved gently in the breeze machines. Colorful flowers from 20 worlds bloomed along stone paths. The children, about 30 boys and girls between 5 and 12 years old, ran and shouted. Some kicked a soft ball. Others chased glowing insects that floated like tiny stars. Their laughter rang clear and happy. Security was light. A few human guards in casual clothes stood at the edges. Concordance peace officers, tall beings in silver armor, walked slowly around the garden. Everyone felt safe. This was a celebration, not a war zone. Among the guests sat the Kazathari delegation. They were tall and thin, like giant praying mantises. Their bodies were covered in hard green-black shells. Sharp blades grew naturally from their forearms. Their compound eyes shone red under the lights. The Kazathari were an old species. They valued order above all things. Silence and perfect control were signs of strength. Noise was weakness. The human children's laughter bothered them. Every shout felt like an insult. Every happy scream broke their calm. The Kazathari leader clicked his mandibles in anger. He spoke quietly to his security chief. That sound is unacceptable. It disturbs the harmony of higher minds. The security chief was named Zekthar. He stood 2.5 meters tall. His blades were polished to a mirror shine. On his homeworld, striking a lesser being to enforce silence was normal. It was not cruelty, it was correction. The Concordance allowed each species to keep some of their old customs during visits, as long as no permanent harm was done. Zekthar stepped forward. His long legs carried him quickly across the grass. The children did not notice him at first. A boy of 8 years named Liam kicked the ball high. It bounced near Zekthar's feet. A girl named Maya, 6 years old, ran after it, giggling. Zekthar raised one arm. The neural lash uncoiled from his wrist like a living whip. Thin blue energy lines danced along its length. It was made to cause pain without breaking skin or bones. Many species use such tools on workers or young ones who needed discipline. He swung once. The lash struck Liam across the back. The boy dropped instantly. His body shook hard. Pain exploded through every nerve. He screamed, a high, sharp sound that cut through the garden. Maya turned. Her eyes went wide. Before she could run, Zekthar lashed again. The energy line hit her small shoulder. She fell next to Liam, crying and twisting on the grass. Both children gasped for air. Their faces turned white. Tears streamed down their cheeks. For exactly 4.7 seconds, the garden went quiet. Then, the humans moved. It was not wild or angry. No one panicked. Every adult human in the garden, diplomats in suits, teachers in bright shirts, parents holding drinks, acted at the same moment. They moved fast and smooth, like they had practiced many times. A woman in a gray dress reached Liam first. She dropped to her knees and pressed her hands gently on his back. She spoke soft words. "It's okay, sweetheart. We're here." At the same time, 2 men grabbed Zekthar's arms. They twisted with perfect control. His blades clattered to the ground. A third human pressed a small device to the Kazathari's neck. It hummed once. Zekthar's body went stiff, then limp. He fell forward. Another teacher scooped Maya into her arms. The girl sobbed against her shoulder. Medical bags appeared from under benches, small black cases every human seemed to carry. Tiny lights flashed as scanners checked the children. Cool gel was spread on the red marks left by the lash. The gel glowed faintly and started to work on the damaged nerves. In less than 12 seconds, Zekthar lay on his face. His arms were tied behind him with thin white straps that tightened automatically. His lash weapon was broken into pieces on the grass. Concordance peace officers ran over. They laughed, a strange clicking sound from their throat slits. "Calm down, humans," one said in standard. "It was only a discipline lash. The young ones will recover in minutes. Pay the fine, and we move on. This is normal." The human ambassador, a tall man named Reyes, stepped forward. His face showed no anger, only calm. He looked at the officer. "You injured human children," he said. His voice was quiet but clear. "That ends the conversation for now." The officer laughed again. "Overreaction. Your species is new. You will learn our ways." Reyes did not answer. He turned and spoke into a small earpiece. "Code Crimson Echo. Move to points." Across the garden, every human began to walk. They did not run. They did not grab bags or look back. Parents picked up their playing children. Teachers guided the older ones by the hand. Diplomats left half-finished drinks on tables. In a few minutes, the garden looked strange, empty of humans, full of confused aliens. At the same time, high above Valoria Prime, sensors on concordance stations blinked. A new contact appeared on their screens. One ship, then 3, then 12. They came out of jump space, so close that no warning was possible. The ships were dark gray, smooth, and bigger than anything humans had shown before. The lead ship sent a message. It used perfect standard. The voice was calm, almost bored. Human children were harmed on Valoria Prime by Kazathari personnel. This is a Class Omega violation of the Sol Protection Doctrine. Do not interfere. The concordance officers stopped laughing. In the garden below, Ambassador Reyes looked up at the sky through the clear dome. A tiny smile touched his lips. The children were safe now. Maya and Liam breathed easier. The gel had done its job. But something bigger had started, and the galaxy was about to learn why humans never bragged about their strength. They never needed to, until someone touched their young. In the great hall of Valoria Prime, the garden still smelled of crushed grass and burnt nerves from the lash. Maya and Liam lay on soft stretchers now, covered with thin silver blankets that kept them warm. Medical humans knelt beside them, speaking in low voices. The gel on their skin had already taken most of the pain away. The children's breathing was steady, but their small faces were pale. Every few seconds, one of them whimpered in sleep. Around the garden, the other humans moved with purpose. No one shouted orders. No one looked afraid. A mother picked up her toddler from the sandpit and walked toward the exit doors. A diplomat in a gray suit left his half-eaten fruit on a table and followed. Teachers gathered the older children into neat lines, holding hands so no one got lost. Even the cooks from the human food stall closed their grills, wiped their hands, and joined the line. The aliens watched. Some laughed softly. Others clicked their tongues or rustled their feathers in confusion. "What is this?" a tall bird-like being asked his neighbor. "They act like the building is on fire, but there is no smoke." A concordance peace officer stepped in front of Ambassador Reyes. The officer's silver armor shone under the lights. "Ambassador, please explain. Your people are leaving without permission. The ceremony is not finished." Reyes looked at the officer. His eyes were calm, almost bored. "We received a message from home. We are going to our ships." "What message?" the officer pressed. "There has been no alarm, no attack. Only a small discipline matter with your young ones." Reyes did not raise his voice. "You injured human children. That is the only message we need." The officer opened his mouth to argue, but Reyes was already walking away. The rest of the humans followed him like water flowing downhill. In 17 minutes, the garden was empty of humans. Tables stood with food still warm. Chairs were pushed back. A child's ball rolled slowly across the grass and stopped against a flower bed. The aliens stared at the empty space. It felt wrong, like a room where the music suddenly stopped. High above the planet, in the black of space, things changed faster. Every human on Valoria Prime, more than 800 people, had tiny receivers in their ears or under their skin. At the exact same second, those receivers buzzed once. A short encrypted message came through. It said only 4 words. Code, Crimson Echo, evacuate. That was enough. The message also carried a second part for the leaders. Saul is aware. No one needed more. They knew what it meant. At the main spaceport, human shuttles waited in their docking bays. The pilots had already started the engines. The moment the first group of humans reached the gates, the bay doors opened without asking permission. Concordance controllers tried to stop them. "You do not have clearance," one shouted over the speakers. A human pilot answered in a flat voice. "Clearance granted by Saul Command. Stand down or be considered hostile." The controllers hesitated. They had never heard a human sound like that. Cold, sure, no room for talk. The first shuttles lifted off. They rose straight up, fast and smooth. No fancy turns, no showing off, just direct to orbit. On the ground, Kazathari delegates gathered in their private lounge. Their leader, High Nestor Vrakthar, stood tall. His blades clicked together in anger. "These soft mammals dare walk away? After we corrected their noisy young? We will demand an apology. They will pay the fine." His security chief, still sore from the zip ties, rubbed his neck. They moved too fast, too calm. It was not panic. It was training. Vrakthar waved a blade. "They are weak. We will speak to the Concordance. They will force the humans to come back and bow." But even as he spoke, the big screens in the lounge flickered. A new ship appeared on the space scans. Then another. Then 10 more. They came out of jump space so close to the planet that the alarms screamed. The ships were long and dark, with sharp angles and no bright lights. Nothing like the small, rounded human vessels the galaxy knew. The lead ship sent a message. It used standard language, clear and slow. Human children were deliberately harmed by Xathari personnel on Valoria Prime. This is a Class Omega violation of the Soul Protection Doctrine. All human citizens are under recall. Do not interfere with evacuation. Correction will now commence. The Xathari froze. High Nestor Vrakthar stared at the screen. "What is this correction?" he asked. No one answered. The room felt colder. Down on the planet, the last humans reached the spaceport. Ambassador Reyes walked at the back, making sure no one was left behind. A young girl tugged his sleeve. "Mr. Reyes, are we in trouble?" He smiled down at her. "No, little one. Someone else is." He helped her into the shuttle. The doors closed. The engines roared. The shuttle shot upward. In orbit, the human ships waited. They formed a perfect circle around the planet. No weapons showed yet. No engines flared. They just sat there, silent and heavy. Concordance commanders on their stations sent urgent messages. "Human vessels, state your purpose." The answer came back the same. "Correction will now commence." One Concordance admiral, a wise old crustacean from the deep seas of Thalor, looked at his officers. "I have seen many species angry, but this is different. They do not shout. They do not threaten with big words. They simply act. And they brought ships we have never seen." On Valoria Prime, the aliens in the hall started to understand something was wrong. The laughter stopped. Whispers spread. A few species who knew humans better began to move toward their own shuttles. Slowly at first. then faster. The Kazathari stayed. Pride held them in place. High Nestor Vrakthar sent a message to his homeworld. The humans leave like cowards. We have shown strength. Demand reparations from the Concordance. But deep in his shell, a small fear began to grow. In the medical bay of the lead human ship, Maya opened her eyes. Liam held her hand. A doctor checked their vitals. "You're both going to be fine," she said. "The nanites fixed the nerve damage. You'll be running around again soon." Maya looked up. "Did they hurt us because we were loud?" The doctor's face went hard for a second. Then she smiled. "No, sweet girl. They hurt you because they thought they could. They were wrong." Outside the window, more human ships arrived. Dozens, then hundreds. They appeared one after another, filling the sky like dark stars. The galaxy had seen human traders, human explorers, human tourists who took too many pictures and asked too many questions. Now it saw something else. It saw humans who had been waiting for someone to cross the only line they truly cared about. Maya closed her eyes again. She felt safe. The ship hummed softly around her. Far below on the pleasure world, the flowers in the gardens still bloomed, but the laughter was gone. And high above, the dark ships waited, patient, ready. The message repeated across every channel. Correction will now commence. No one laughed anymore. 72 hours had passed since the neural lash touched the children. 72 hours since the first human shuttle left Valoria Prime. In that short time, the galaxy changed. At first, the Concordance thought the humans were bluffing. Their old ships were small, slow, easy to track. Everyone knew the human fleet. A few dozen cruisers, some patrol boats. Nothing that could challenge a major power. The aliens had watched humans for decades. They traded, they talked, they never fought big wars. So when the new ships appeared, many laughed. Trick of sensors, some said. Old hulls with new paint, others joked. Then the numbers kept growing. 100, 200, 400. By the end of the third day, 619 human vessels sat in position across 12 core systems of the Concordance. They did not come one by one. They came all at once. Jumps so perfect that no gravity well could stop them. Ships appeared inside no-fly zones. Battle groups blocked trade lanes. Carriers floated above capital cities. Dreadnoughts, long black shapes bigger than anything the galaxy had seen from humans, parked directly over the Concordance Central Station on Nexus Prime. No shots fired. No warnings screamed across channels. Just presence. Heavy. Silent. Everywhere. Every ship broadcast the same message on open channels. The voice was calm, almost polite. Human children were deliberately harmed by Kazathari personnel on Valoria Prime. This constitutes a Class Omega violation of the Sol Protection Doctrine. Hand over every Kazathari individual present at the incident, including command staff who failed to intervene. Include all records, witnesses, and security footage. Failure to comply within 6 standard hours will be interpreted as collective endorsement of the assault on human juveniles. Sol will respond accordingly. The message repeated, again, again. It never changed tone. It just kept going. On Nexus Prime, the Great Council chamber filled with panic. 400 species sent their best diplomats. They argued. They shouted. They waved datapads. The Kazathari delegation stood in the center, blades clicking in nervous rhythm. High Nestor Vrakthar tried to speak. "This is madness. One lash, non-lethal. The young ones recovered. Humans overreact like frightened prey." A squid-like being from the outer rings waved tentacles. "You struck children in public. On a neutral world, during a ceremony. You knew the rules." Vrakthar snapped his mandibles. "We corrected noise. It is our way. Humans have no right." A small human hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It was Ambassador Reyes. He looked tired, but steady. He spoke without anger. You injured human children. We asked nicely once. This is the second time. There will not be a third. The hologram vanished. Silence fell over the chamber. Scans from every station showed the same thing. Human ships used drives no one understood. Engines that bent space without the usual flair. Weapons ports stayed closed, but sensors picked up strange energy readings, things that matched no known profile. Some ships had hulls that drank light. Others shimmered like heat on a road. One ship, bigger than the rest, sat motionless above Xath Prime, the Xathari homeworld. Its shadow covered half a continent. The Concordance fleet tried to move. 3 battle groups left their docks. They were stopped before they cleared orbit. Human vessels appeared between them and their targets. Not blocking with weapons, just there. Too close. Too many. A Concordance admiral sent a private message to Reyes. Ambassador, this is escalation. We can negotiate. Reyes answered in text only. Negotiation ended when the lash struck. Deliver the guilty, or we collect them. On Xath Prime, the military nests buzzed like angry hives. Generals screamed orders. Fleets powered up. Thousands of Xathari ships, sharp, fast, covered in blades, lifted from their worlds. They formed attack formations. Pride demanded action. High Nestor Vrakthar watched from his command spire. We will teach these soft ones fear. He gave the order. The Xathari fleet charged the human blockade above their capital. 47 seconds later, it was over. No big explosions. No heroic clashes. Human ships did not meet them head-on. They simply acted. Kinetic lances, thin spears of metal accelerated to terrible speeds, punched through command decks. One after another. Precise, no waste. Reactors failed in perfect sequence. Ships went dark. Engines died. Weapons powered down before they could fire. Electronic warfare swept through Xathari systems like cold wind. Displays went black. Voices turned to static. Crews floated in dead ships, alive but helpless. Not one human ship took damage. Not one shot missed. The Xathari fleet, once feared across sectors, became drifting metal tombs in less than a minute. Then the humans moved again. Small craft, black dropships, launched from the carriers. They entered atmosphere without slowing. They landed on the command spires, on the nest cities, on the military academies. Teams in dark armor stepped out. No flags, no bright colors, just quiet efficiency. They took the officers, every admiral, every nest lord, every commander grade 7 and above. They used stunners, not bullets. No one died. The captives woke up later in human holding cells, wrists bound with soft white straps. The broadcast changed. The Xathari species has 30 standard days to dismantle its military hierarchy, surrender all neural weaponry, and deliver a reparations package to the affected human children, valued at 0.7% of total galactic GDP. Non-compliance will result in stepwise reduction of Xathari population centers until compliance is achieved or the species is no longer spacefaring. The words hung in space. Every channel carried them. Every species heard. On Valoria Prime, the garden stood empty. Flowers wilted a little under the artificial suns. A child's ball still lay in the grass. In the medical bay of the lead human ship, Maya and Liam sat up. They played a quiet game with glowing blocks. The doctor checked their backs. Only faint pink lines remained. They're healing fast, the doctor said. Maya looked out the window. Stars moved slowly past. Are we going home? Soon, the doctor answered. First we make sure no one ever does that again. Liam squeezed her hand. They won't hurt kids anymore? The doctor smiled. It was small and hard. Not human kids. Far away, on Nexus Prime, the council sat in silence. No one spoke for a long time. A wise old being from a slow-moving species finally said, "We thought they were weak because they never showed strength. We were wrong. Another voice added, they were never weak. They were quiet. Across the galaxy, species remembered every time they had dismissed humans, every joke about soft skin, every comment about noisy laughter, every time they thought humans would never fight. Now they knew. Humans did not fight for land. They did not fight for power. They did not fight for glory. They fought when someone touched what they loved most. And when they did not stop until the threat was gone. 619 ships stayed in place, patient, watching. The 6 hours ticked down. No one dared test if the humans were serious. They already knew the answer. The 6-hour deadline came and went. No Kazathari ships moved to surrender their leaders. No nests opened their doors. High Nestor Vrakthar stood in his tallest spire on Kazath Prime. He looked out at the dark human dreadnought that blocked the sun. Its shadow lay cold across the red plains. He clicked his mandibles once, sharp and final. Attack again, he ordered. All forces, break their line. The order went out. Thousands of Kazathari fighters rose from hidden caves and mountain nests. They screamed into the sky on razor wings of metal. Their weapons glowed green. Pride burned in every pilot. They would show these soft mammals what real warriors looked like. The human ships did not move at first. They waited. Then, when the first wave reached firing range, the response came. It was not loud. It was not bright. It was clean. Thin beams of light, almost invisible, cut through space. Each beam found a command ship. Each beam punched straight through armor, through decks, through the bridge. Commanders died before they could scream. Secondary beams followed. They hit reactors. Power died in perfect waves. Ships spun slowly, lights going dark one by one. Engines failed. Weapons went silent. Crews floated inside metal shells, alive but trapped. 47 seconds. That was all it took. The second wave never reached the human line. Electronic noise flooded their systems. Screens filled with static. Controls locked. Thrusters shut down. Fighters drifted like leaves in wind. Some pilots tried to eject. Escape pods popped open, small and white. Human shuttles moved in quietly and collected them. No shots at the pods, no cruelty, just collection. On the ground, the nests watched their sky fill with drifting wrecks. Alarms wailed. Warriors ran to shelters. High Nestor Vrakthar stared at the screens. His blades trembled. Then the dropships came. They fell from orbit like black rain. No warning. No sonic booms. Stealth fields hid them until the last second. They landed on the command spires, on the military academies, on the breeding halls where officers trained their young. Doors hissed open. Humans stepped out. They wore dark armor that drank light. Helmets showed no faces, only smooth black visors. They carried long rifles that hummed softly. No flags, no war cries. They moved in small teams, 4 or 5 at a time. They knew exactly where to go. In the Grand Nest Tower, guards rushed to meet them. Blades flashed. Warriors charged. The humans did not slow. Stunners cracked. Short blue pulses. Guards dropped. Not dead, just sleeping. The humans stepped over them like stepping over fallen branches. They reached the High Nestor's chamber. Vrakthar stood ready. His blades extended to full length. He hissed a challenge. The lead human raised one hand. A soft click sounded. A thin dart hit Vrakthar's neck. His body locked. He fell forward, blades scraping stone. 2 humans lifted him easily. They carried him out. No words, no anger, just work. The same thing happened across Kazath Prime. Teams took every officer above grade 7. Admirals, generals, nest lords, teachers of war. They took them alive. They took records. They took data cores. They left the common soldiers untouched. When the dropships lifted again, the nests were quiet. Smoke rose from a few broken towers. But no fires raged. No cities burned. Humans had come for one thing only. Back in orbit, The broadcast changed again. The military caste of the Kazathari has been removed for trial under Saul law. The remaining population has 30 standard days to meet these terms. 1. Dismantle all remaining military command structures. 2. Surrender every neural lash and similar pain weapon across all worlds and ships. 3. Deliver reparations to the 2 injured human children. Value 0.7% of current galactic GDP. Payment in resources, technology, or currency. Details will follow. Non-compliance will result in further stepwise actions. Population centers will be reduced in size until compliance occurs, or the Kazathari cease to be a spacefaring species. The words echoed across every channel. No emotion in the voice. No threats of fire or blood. Just facts. Clear steps. A path that ended in one of 2 ways. On Kazath Prime, the remaining leaders stared at each other. Civil war started within hours. Some nests blamed the military caste. Others blamed the humans. Fights broke out in the streets. Blades clashed, eggs cracked in panic. The proud species tore itself apart rather than face what waited above. In the human fleet, quiet work continued. Maya and Liam played in the ship's garden dome. Real grass grew under soft lights. Trees from Earth stretched tall. The children ran and laughed again. Their backs showed only faint lines now. The nanites had done perfect work. A Marine in dress blacks, tall, calm, walked with them. He carried no weapon. He just watched. When Maya tripped, he caught her gently and set her back on her feet. "Are the bad bugs gone?" she asked. The Marine smiled under his cap. "They won't hurt kids anymore." Liam looked up at the stars through the dome. "Will we go home soon?" "Soon," the Marine said. "We just need to finish teaching a lesson." Across the galaxy, other species watched. Traders stopped at neutral stations and whispered. Diplomats sent secret messages home. Old enemies of the Kazathari smiled quietly. Old friends shook their heads in fear. One small species, the tiny furred Lyran, sent a private note to Sol. "We never harmed your young. We never will. Please remember that." The answer came back fast. "We know. You are safe." No more words. No promises needed. The Concordance Council met again on Nexus Prime. The chamber felt smaller now. Fewer voices spoke. A tall crystal being stood up slowly. "We must add a new law," it said. "Something simple." They voted in silence. 17 old treaties changed in one night. The new rule was short. Do not physically harm human juveniles under any circumstances. Do not allow others to do so in your presence. Do not test the resolve of Sol. They called it the Soul Protection Protocol. No one argued. In the black between stars, the human ships stayed, 619 dark shapes, watching the 30-day clock. On Kazath Prime, the civil war grew louder. Nests fell. Leaders ran. Reparations ships began to load. Rare metals, energy cores, ancient knowledge files. They sent the first payment early. No one wanted to wait for the next step. High above Valoria Prime, the garden dome opened again. Flowers bloomed fresh. A small ball rolled across new grass. Maya kicked it high. Liam caught it. Their laughter rang clear. Ambassador Reyes watched from a bench. He held a cup of tea. Steam rose slow. A concordance officer approached, the same one who had laughed before. "Ambassador," he said quietly, "the children look well." Reyes nodded. "They are." The officer looked at the sky. Human ships still waited there. "We understand now," he said. Reyes took a sip of tea. "Good," he answered. No more words were needed. The galaxy finally learned the quiet truth about humans. They traded. They laughed loud, but touched their children, and the smiles went away. And when that happened, entire species said goodbye. On Kazath Prime, the Red Plains grew quiet. The Civil War ended not with victory, but with exhaustion. Nests that once stood proud now lay broken. Warriors who fought each other turned their blades inward or threw them down. The old military leaders were gone, taken away in human ships. No one left wanted to test the dark shapes still waiting in orbit. Ships loaded with reparations left the surface, one after another. Rare metals in heavy crates, ancient data crystals glowing soft blue, energy cores that could power cities for years, artifacts from deep vaults. Every item carefully listed and valued. The total reached 0.7% of galactic GDP. No more, no less. Humans had asked for exact numbers, and the Kazathari paid them. The last ship carried a special gift. 2 small boxes wrapped in soft silver cloth. Inside were neural-soothing crystals, rare stones from the deepest caves. They hummed gently when touched. The crystals were said to calm any mind, even one hurt by pain weapons. The Xathari hoped the human children would like them. High above, the human fleet watched everything. No cheers, no speeches, just quiet scans that checked each cargo. When the final tally matched, the broadcast voice spoke one last time. Reparations received and verified. Terms met. The Sol Protection Doctrine is satisfied for this incident. Human forces will now withdraw from Xathari space. Do not rebuild the structures we removed. We will know if you do. The dark ships began to move. Not fast, not dramatic. They simply faded. One by one, they slipped into jump space. No flashes, no roars, just gone. The sky over Xath Prime grew bright again. The long shadow lifted. For the first time in a month, sunlight touched the plains without interruption. The galaxy exhaled. On Valoria Prime, the pleasure world looked almost the same. Flowers bloomed under fake suns. Paths of white stone wound through green grass. But the big hall felt different now. Fewer aliens laughed loudly. Fewer children ran wild. Everyone remembered. A new ceremony was held. Not for joining the concordance, not for celebration, for healing. The garden dome opened wide. Fresh air machines hummed. 30 human children played again. Balls bounced. Laughter rang clear. Maya and Liam stood in the center. They wore bright shirts and clean shoes. No marks showed on their backs. The nanites had finished their work perfectly. Ambassador Reyes walked beside them. He carried nothing but a small data pad. Around the edges of the garden, aliens watched from seats. Concordance officers stood straight in silver armor. Kazathari delegates were not invited. Their seats stayed empty. A single human marine stepped forward. He wore dress blacks, clean, pressed, no weapons. His boots shone. He knelt so Maya and Liam could climb onto his shoulders, one on each side. The children giggled as he stood tall. Their small hands held his cap for balance. The Marine walked slowly through the garden. He stopped in front of the Concordance Council table. A wise old being from Thalor, the crustacean admiral, stood up. His shell clicked softly. "We rewrote the laws," he said. 17 treaties now carry the Sol Protection Protocol. It is simple. Do not harm human young. Do not allow it. Do not question it. Reyes nodded once. We heard. The Admiral looked at the children. Maya waved shyly. Liam smiled big. "They are well?" the Admiral asked. "Very well," Reyes answered. The Marine turned slowly, so everyone could see. The children laughed again. The sound filled the dome. No one tried to stop it. No one raised a lash. No one even frowned. A small Lyran diplomat, tiny and furred, approached carefully. She carried a flower made of light crystal. She held it up to Maya. "For you," she said in a soft voice. "To say we are friends." Maya took it. The crystal glowed warm in her hand. "Thank you." The Lyran bowed low. "We never want trouble with humans." Reyes smiled a little. "We know." The ceremony ended quietly. No big speeches, no medals, just children playing, adults talking in low voices, aliens leaving in small groups, careful not to bump anyone. Outside the dome, the sky stayed clear. No dark ships waited anymore. The human fleet had gone home. Most of it. A few small vessels stayed in neutral space, watching, always watching. In the ship that carried Maya and Liam back to Earth, the two children sat in a big window seat. Stars moved past slow and bright. Their parents sat nearby holding hands. Maya touched the silver-wrapped box from Kazath Prime. She opened it carefully. The neural crystal hummed. Soft colors danced inside. "Pretty," she said. Liam opened his. Same crystal, same hum. "It feels nice." Their mother leaned over. "They sent these so you won't remember the hurt." Maya thought for a second. "I remember a little, but it doesn't hurt now." Liam nodded. "And they won't do it again." Their father smiled. "No, they won't." The ship jumped. Stars stretched into lines, then normal again, closer to home. Back on Earth, news feeds showed pictures. Children laughing in the garden. The Marine carrying them high. The empty Kazathari seats. The new law written in glowing letters across every screen. A new phrase spread fast, not just among diplomats, among traders, among travelers, among children on playgrounds. You injured human children? No one needed the second half anymore. Everyone knew it. Bid your entire species goodbye. Years passed. The Kazathari rebuilt slowly. Smaller nests, no big armies, no neural lashes. Their young learned new ways. Quiet ways, careful ways. They never spoke loud near humans again. Other species changed too. Teachers watched playgrounds closer. Guards moved softer. Even jokes about human weakness stopped. No one laughed at soft skin anymore. On Earth, Maya and Liam grew tall. They played soccer. They studied stars. They told their friends the story sometimes. Not angry, just true. "And that's why everyone is nice to us now," Maya would say. Liam would add, "Not nice, careful." Their friends would nod. They understood. In the quiet nights when ships crossed the black between worlds, captains told new crews the same thing. Trade with humans, talk with humans, laugh with humans, but never, never touch their young. The crews listened. They remembered the dark ships, the perfect strikes. They remembered how one small lash changed everything. And the galaxy stayed peaceful. Not because humans were the strongest, not because they were the richest, because they loved their children more than anything. And when that love turned to action, nothing in the stars could stand against it. So the stars turned, ships flew, children laughed, and no one ever needed to say the second half again.